Right. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. Neuro's like, I'm throwing the 10 spot in right now. I'm throwing it in. Nice, Neuro. uh, I love it. I love it. It's so good. He's like, I'm not messing around today. Just it's holiday weekend. Just doing it. It's so funny. All right. So, uh, actually, some pretty decent movement this morning. Pound had some horrible data. Again, lowest manufacturing uh, kind of opinion coming in for the year. Again, couple that with this 8.6% year over year flash estimate. So your voice is okay. Yeah, my voice is okay. It's a little bit deeper than normal. Um, like I'm officially like COVID negative, but obviously the voice is still not 100% back to normal, and still coughing. Get those coughing spits. Melissa still can't taste anything, so she has no taste, but she's coughing a little bit, but overall feels more or less fine. Jin is almost fully back to normal as well. Kip still dealing with the man flu. He he doesn't have a fever. He coughs and he's like, so he's milking it for everything it's worth. So it is kind of funny. Just gonna say it's pretty hysterical. Um, Melissa and I look at him and just give him no sympathy. Um, you just the poor kid. He's like, I was like, all right, Derek Zoolander, you can stop. But yeah. But for the most part, we're all pretty much back, back to normal. For the holiday weekend, we'll see. But yeah. So we're seeing some dollar strength come in. Again, kind of retracing what we saw yesterday. We saw that dollar weakness, and then we expected it to roll back in. Pound, like I said, is getting slaughtered on the pound yen front as well as the pound dollar front as well as the euro pound front. Again, the data was just not great. They didn't. I guess it came in like 47% said it was going to be bad, but the overall kind of adjusted, PMI number is actually at 52. So it's really, really close to officially breaking, but everybody's sentiment is that it's going to get worse. Um, and again, their inflation is not slowing down, so it's kind of like how much more are they going to have to raise to control inflation, and what is it going to look like? I think they're kind of in a more worst case scenario than we are, but it is what it is. ECB, their data, obviously, the year over year 8.6 is as high as it's been in God knows how long. Actually, I guess it hits a record, right? Hits record 8.6. So they'll start raising, and we'll see what it looks like. But it obviously, you know, that brings obviously euro strength in, and again you can see versus the dollar, it's a strong scenario. Those two rams smashing into each other. But for the most part, again, you're seeing it kind of move, kind of how we predicted. And again, euro pound, up 92. That's a big amount, right? That's a big push. So um, that's kind of what we're seeing right now out there in the markets. Obviously, we have the ISM manufacturing for the U.S. coming in short order here in about 22 minutes. Like I said, I still think it stays above. I think it stays above 50, but I'm kind of curious to see if we come in at like a 52 or a 53, how that really kind of what that really turns the day into today. Um, you know, I, I'm fully in the belief that yes, we are going, kind of back into we're going to go into a recession. It kind of has to be done. And again, this is paying the piper. Everybody loved zero rates forever, but now we got to pay the piper for it. And I'm curious to see what the manufacturing numbers come in as. So remember, under 50 is technically contraction, so 52 is technically still expansion. But we know we're kind of going that route. We saw GDP numbers come down, so it's not, you know, it's it's nothing that we're looking at and being like, okay, you know. So I think there's plenty of room still for this one to kind of get. I don't want to say manipulated around, but I think there's plenty in there still that can really start messing around with this one, or really can start messing with people. Hold on one second. Why is I got this message? Why am I getting this message? Um, so I think that's coming in that 10, I think that's a 10-30 time frame where we see somewhat of a reversal. We'll see where the price action, where it's moving ahead of time. Besides that, not too much. We got something over here. One country, two systems has been tested and improved time and again, and there's no reason to change a good system. Um, you know, we'll kind of see, right? Um, basically talking about Hong Kong's return to the motherland and the inaugural ceremony, right? So anything that comes out of there, talking about how it's one country, two systems, it's interesting. Again, when they mention the one country, we know kind of where that's pointed. So, you know, it's a Friday. Got to always throw those comments out there. Um, Besides that, again, recession fears, we got that, and really not much else in there, right? Um, this I think is interesting, right? We're going to fully implement one country, two systems. So it's kind of like, huh, okay, you and look at this. I was talking about this yesterday. China keeps feasting on Russian oil, right? Um, its insatiable appetite for discounted barrels looks unlikely to wane in the near term, right? Kind of been saying this, right? You know, let's drive the price down. Oil's bad, yeah. And China says we'll take every single bit that you got. Um, and as they should. I mean, they don't technically have an issue with what Russia has done. Um, but if they can get it on a discount, they're absolutely going to take it. That relationship's as good as it's ever been. They're absolutely without a doubt going to take advantage of it, right? And they'd be stupid not to. I mean, come on, they've learned from the West. Capitalism. That's how you get ahead, right? If we can get cheap gas, that's exactly what Southwest is. The only reason Southwest exists because of cheap gas. So we'll see. And then again, here's that article, right? You know, um, you know, production, basically fell to 47% from 55 in May. Like seasonally adjusted and everything else, it comes down to 52.8. So not there yet. It has remained above the 50 since June, but I just think it's a matter of time before that next drop in the hat, and it does go below. And again, they are what, five raises, I guess, five raises in. Still seeing inflation kind of get out of hand, and hasn't really been any end in sight. So that's what the UK is dealing with, right? And that's why we're seeing these big numbers, 150 and 258. So again, it's interesting to see that the pound yen down so much because it's really starting to retreat from some of the levels that you're like, wow, these are some pretty big levels, right? And even the dollar yen, right? We're seeing dollar strength, but we're seeing versus the yen down another 44. So I mean, it's retreating from those 37s, and is there something happening behind the scenes, or is this just the market knowing like, hey, listen, it's nice that it was up here, but we know what's going to happen. We know what the next hat to drop is going to be. And I think it could be either of those two, either of those two things. All right. With that said, let's go over in the chart. So VIX is took a pop at the end of the day, but we're really kind of just sitting where we did, at the end of the day. ISM isn't really going to be. I don't know. I wouldn't say that ISM is one of those things that it's going to really kind of, you know, mess the market up too much, right? Um, it could definitely send it on a trajectory, but is it going to spike the VIX for the day? Probably not. I mean, yesterday was a pretty violent move. You know, I think it's probably due to kind of come back down again, and seeing where the indices are right now, up 0.3, down 0.1, up 0.1, up 0.4. Um, they're kind of in the right areas, and I mentioned earlier in the week, looking for some type of end of the week feel good Friday type scenario. Especially after yesterday, after the beat up that it got, and particularly in the overnight as well. Seeing it rally back up again is not necessarily the most surprising thing in the world. Okay, um, diving over and looking at the currencies. So, also yesterday, again, we talked about that knockout. It came up and ended up grabbing its target, and then ended up coming down. And again, this zone is, it got pushed pretty deep, and it kind of, it didn't necessarily hold, right? It got sliced through, and then kind of came up and gave us some retracings down. But we've kind of blown up some of these other levels here. So, we can take these off. That trade is out. That trade is out. We can run fibs all the way back down again. And again, multiple hits on this one. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what you expect to break. This area got pushed through. Again, we knew we had that bigger zone. That's what I just deleted. Let's go to a 4-hour, see what we got going into next week here. Yeah, there's most likely something sitting down here. Actually, let's do this one right here. Probably something sitting there. Let's see if we can shrink it just a little bit. Can we see it? Survey says we can. We can adjust it into, how big is that? 19. I'm cool with 19. All right, let's shrink it. Let's bring it all the way across. And here we roll. All right, so there we go. So we can see we have a 4 hour slash 2 hour refine level just kind of come in and just a little bit lower where we are. It's a decent runaway from right now. It is about 40 pips down. Could ISM drop us that far? Sure, it could, and it could lead us to a reversal level. And I think that would make sense. I mean, if ISM is not horrible, not that I think it changes the trajectory of the interest rate rises, but it's definitely level. Again, being on a larger time frame, we know we have some bigger buyers coming in there. The question is, are we going to have enough time today to kind of really push down that 40 pips down, hit a level, and then turn and kind of roll back up again before the holiday, right? It's a holiday weekend, so that's something you always got to watch out for. It's going to be lower volume, lower people trading. It can be, lead to more swings, of course, right? You can absolutely get some more swings in the market, but how far it's going to move, I think that's another question. Trying to see if we really at this point, I almost rather just wait for this to kind of retrace up again and then reverse after news. Um, and that would look something along the lines of that. There's a wick over wick here, and again, it is sitting at the 23.6, so that would be a level where you'd have some people coming in at. It's about 38 up, 46 to the downside, so. It's moving the right way we want for news, right? Um, it's just not close enough. Just not close enough. But like I said, we'll see where it is in 15 minutes. I don't think it's going to jump. Jumping 40 pips in 15 minutes would kind of be a little bit too much, right? A little bit much. We're kind of right in the middle right now. So anyway, I would say, I think look for a potential reversal coming off of this down here at 167.34. Again, it is a 4 hour slash 2 hour refine zone. It is a big one. That's where the next hiccup's going to be. But if we come down and start bracing through, um, again, I think we could get some dollar strength that actually smashes through the bottom side of this. And we know, not that we can see it on this chart, I don't think. Can we? No, we cannot. You can see though, if we break through this, we get a pretty decent run up. Right to here, right? So we got a little bit of room. It's like another 50 pips to the downside. So there's some stuff in here. Um, but right now we're sitting smack in the middle of that range. So just look out for those two levels. And like I said, this could be if we can push up again. I don't know if we can get that high on a Friday, but if we push up into that level again, 68.22 could be definitely a rollover spot. Also, again, we talked about this one coming down, finally breaking through, and it did. It broke all the way through, broke all the way, came out of the 100. As you can see, we had the level down here, which was a 50, but it had pushed deep, so we weren't looking to trade reversals off of it. If I extend it across, you can see it just kind of rode in here and kind of pulled back up again. If you wanted to take more of like a refined zone out of this one, you could say, listen, there's a wick over wick sitting right there, right? And again, that's kind of that Harry Potter where we push down and kind of pull back up to it. That would look something along the lines of this, right? And 1 to 3 sitting right there. So we're in close proximity to this one. And again, this would be a little bit of help from the yen. It would require about another 25 pips up. Can we get it in 10 minutes? Sure, we could. News may drive it up into that level, but I would say that this is just a continuation. And again, we're shooting for that 61.8, which that price tag is, all the way sitting over here. So that would be kind of where your next target would be. And again, looking at candle wise, where we're at, got a little hiccup here and then just a grind. So there's not really a whole lot of clean candles on this one, particularly on the 30. So, but yeah, that's what we're looking for right now. Euro dollar. So euro dollar, unfortunately, you may say, wait a second, there's no drawings on this one. Yeah, for some reason, like I had to cycle everything into Oanda. Euro dollar was on FXCM and pound dollar was FXCM. I don't know why those two were switched over from Oanda, but again, I lost a lot of the drawings on it. So it's kind of one of those ones we got to kind of do some new draws on it. Again, actually, let's start on a 4 hour just to kind of keep this clean. Let's see. Let's do a fib up and down to there. Make another case right here. Let's see here. I'm not gonna go back and find another one. Oh, it's 'cause it's so far back. Um, let's see. Hmm. See how ugly this gets on a daily basis. um, let's put something right in there so we kind of have that one. And then right there. All right, let's come through here. Got that. Let's drop it down to a 30. And mark off that level right there. Oops. All right. So, whoops. Red does not work. 106.19. We know we have buyers stepping in here at 103.81. We are in pretty close proximity to this. He's about 19 pips down. Hmm. 19 pipperoonies. We got 8 minutes. Hmm. See. This up. How close can we get? Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Um, all right. So we are looking at. Huh. So, looks like a 103.92. Oh, it's so close. Yeah, it's really, really close. Hmm. So basically, looking at this one, there is a 102.92, and again, obviously the prices are a little bit off. Currently, it's 104.04 on that side. It's 104. I guess it's 104.04 here, so it's pretty close price wise. There is a knockout there, but man, literally, it's like sitting right there with about 8 pips. There's about $15 worth of risk on there, so it would definitely be more of a kind of looking at a dollar weakness type position. We know that the table is set for euro strength today. And again, we're seeing this pull back down again, but is this that pre kind of dollar movement down to kind of turn it and pop to the top side? So this zone is not horrible. Let's see. I mean, it's 30, so it's a little bit big. I'm almost curious to see if we would, take this from this level right here, and then this is what your 1 to 3 looks like. I mean, it's right at the money right now. I mean, 1 to 3 is only there, so it's not even that big of a move, right? It's not even a huge move right now. Let me see binary wise what we got binary wise. Um, there's a 104.22. It's got about an hour left. There's a binary sitting 104.22 right there, right? There's a 104.22, and it's got like $17 worth of risk, $18 worth of risk in it right now. Um, Again, only needs to move 20 pips. So got an hour to go 20 pips on that one. That could be a way to play that as well. So two little setups on that one for euro dollar. Euro pound, obviously, we're seeing massive amounts of strength coming up as it should be. And again, we've blown through. Again, I haven't adjusted all these. You can see yesterday we drove all the way through the target, and funny, it based right in that level where that we had talked about, which is good. We're going to leave that on there because again, that base is at this point, we know that that base is blown up and we can use it for a short side target. We did push up and we did hit the 78, so I don't care about this old fib anymore. Does not pertain. And then this is kind of what we're looking at right now. Let's see what we got. Interesting enough, the 50 is nowhere even remotely an issue. Actually, you know what? Let's switch this around a little bit. Let's bring this all the way down to here. And let's bring this to here. And now that actually gives me kind of a basing level right here, right? Again, lock that in, touch of it right there. This is an old level, so we're okay with that one. We'll just refine it and put us right there. And 86.15. Okay, so that would be a target on the downside. Did we turn off anything? Did we turn off of that right there? Really not the best level, but kind of a weird. There's a level sitting right there. I just can't get a good read on it. Actually, two. One there, and then a base sitting there. That's exactly what I ran into. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Um. It's a decent turn, right? On a 15-minute, we can see kind of where the level is right here for this one. Kind of looking what that top looks like. It is kind of set up in a little bit of a racetrack here, but again, finding some buyers. There are buyers sitting in here. I'd like to see this kind of punch a little bit further. It's a shame this is a Friday and this is the end of the day. If this was like a Tuesday, I would say, hey, listen, look for the break of this zone right here. Look for this kind of a retracement back down again off of the news today. But I think we're going to run out of steam. We're going to run out of time on this one. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get a full completion in before the end of today. Um, hmm, that's a kicker. I'd like to see one more burst. Like, just give us one more burst of Euro strength, right? Before that reversal. Um, yeah, market's definitely pushing down. Euro is pushing down before this release. We got 2 minutes. Did they release it already? No. Trying to see if they popped it early. No, not yet. Urgh. Right there. It's a little deep. It's a little deep. How much risk is that? Well, like seven. So it's not even that much. It's like seven for a 21. It's just basically offering a retracement back down again. And again, your profit target should be taken out right here, so you can see that it's well within the 1 to 3. So it's in range. God, I was really hoping we get this punch. One more punch. I wanted one more punch higher. But yeah, so that's what I would say. Again, if you're looking for something small, that 86.54 break below that, it's only 7 pips, so it's not really even that big of a position in there. Was really going for just that one more, just give it just a little bit more, right? Just a little bit more. Mm, so close yet so far. All right, there we go. Oh, there was the pop. Let's see. What did it come in as? 53. So yeah, when I mentioned 52, 53, right there. Again, There's a little bit of a pop, and again, lower than expected. Does it really change too much as far as what they're going to rise? No, but it just shows you that we're getting a little bit closer in there. So again, I would say that this is kind of a dollar weakness thing. Like, hey, crap, we're kind of heading towards recession already, and we know that we're not even slowing inflation down based off of yesterday's number. So kind of in there. And again, we'll see how they absorb it. How the overall market absorbs that one. Euro yen. Right now, it looks like the yen is not doing too much with it. Again, we knew this was a level yesterday. Let's go back up to a 30 minute. We talked about this pushing all the way down to 4102, and you can see. I mean, it was again, it smashed into it, smashed into it, smashed into it, and then boom, it bounced right out of the top side. So we knew that there was going to be something there for the 50. And again, we were already talking about short patterns. So I mean, that target obviously got hit. It pushed in, bounced, and now it's kind of basing and looking to kind of go short from there. I would say this one is actually not horrible. The zone's a little bit big for my liking. It is about 35 pips. Again, this pair has moved, but you can see the candle that we're dealing with right below it was kind of a whip back and forth. It was a news-based candle. So with us, again, we can kind of refine it a little bit. I wouldn't say that it's much different right now. It's a little tiny bit smaller. But if we can get a confirmation play in this one, we could also see a continued push to the downside. So I would say I would say that there's something in this one. I think there's a continued push down. The next time, and again, it's really kind of coming all the way back down to the 78, which again, once it's 78, I don't really care anymore. But there's a level sitting right there that we've kind of seen some front running coming off of. So right now, I would say inside of a short position inside of the euro yen. Look for this one to continue to drop. And again, if you want to wait for the confirmation, go for it. But the overall downside target on this one is down here at 139.37, right? It's so close. Let me just make it 37 right there, right? So that's what I'd say where we're looking for this. And again, the news justifies it today. Would just be a push down. Okay. Pound dollar. You can see pound dollar's trying. It's like, oh, that data was bad for the U.S. It's trying its best, right? It's trying its best, and there are buyers. You can see this is what we're dealing with right now. Are these like super clean buyers? Like, is this like that's it go long? Not really. I mean, it's okay, but not. You know, again, there's a couple factors involved. One, we're right at 120, so that's a big deal. Two, there are buyers down here, and again, it is a psychological level. But is it super clean? Not really. I mean, there's a level right below it. Let's get a 4 hour level in this one. Let's see. Yeah, it's such a garbage bottom. I hate bottoms like that. Let's see. In this last push down, yeah, look at that. There's a 50. I was gonna say I was seeing candles here so when some bounces. I was like, there's probably something sitting there. So this is one we need to mark off. Again, not fresh. It's hit it a few times, but has been a pretty substantial point there. And again, I like the way the formation was here on the 4 hour. Downwise, yeah. See, this is what we're dealing with right now. And there's a little hiccup right there. Can I see that on a 2 hour? Let me see. I can. It's not really the best of zones though. Yeah, I don't love this one. Hmm. Fingers crossed. And survey says I can see it. All right, let's see if we can make it any better here. A little bit. Just that. 60 pips on an hourly. Oh, well, that's ugly. Wah, wah, wah. I'm so excited about that. I was like, oh, this is good. I like this one. Right? I like this one. But no, not so much. Yeah, 60 pip 1 hour zone is just not. It just, yeah. Nope. Nope. All right. How much are we talking this one? Also 60 pips. So, wah, wah, wah. So, probably, there's probably a reversal level in here. Unfortunately, the risk level is too big in my eyes for it. Um, so yeah, it looks like we're getting some. So it looks like dollar strength is continuing to move through here. So let me see. Yeah, we're continuing to get that dollar strength. Was actually it may just be a response to that. The fact that it was considered a red number. Um, I'm actually surprised we're pushing this high. I think we get a base in here and then we turn and roll. Because like I said, it's lower than expected. Again, showing you that yeah we're getting really really close. Again. from 56 down to 53, and we know that inflation, inflation is really starting to drive this number. We're within. I mean, again, if this jumped three, we're one more reading from hitting that 50 mark, with shows a contraction. So, um, Jesus, look at this, 347 now. Um, yeah, I think this is the reaction to everybody trying to short the dollar right now. I do think that this will turn and flip. So we'll see if we can get much past where these sellers are. I think it's probably coming. Pound yen, and again, this is obviously, you can see everything kind of creeping its way, and it's trying. Look, they're trying. I wouldn't say it's really changed the trajectory too much. It's shooting for 160. There's nothing down here. We talked about there was a few levels in here to break through. You can see the basing right here. Well, the basing occurred right here, right? Ascending wicks like that in a base and a pop, we love those things. And that's, look, it literally boxed right through there. So I'd say right now the target is really down here at this 160 level. It's been the target for a while that we've been talking about. I think with the data we've seen today, with obviously the pound, right? Um, I think I think it's safe to say going into the weekend right now with this yen strength, I think we shoot for 160. It's about another 187 pips. Probably can't hit it today. We can pull this off for all intents and purposes. I'm just going to say that the 78 has been hit. You can see that 74 though. I mean, again, there was a clean break this morning at about 4 a.m. Actually, I guess it was London Open. Right there, go down to a 30-minute. You guys can see, you guys know what the pattern is, right? We had a zone that we were talking about. We were talking about this break, and that's why it's red on the bottom side, saying that, listen, it was a stab in, and we have a news candle here, and it did. It broke through, it based, and came up. Actually, I guess 4 o'clock is when it hit. The 3 o'clock candle was right there. So again, little Harry Potter trade, a drop, a base, a pull back into a broken zone, which we had looked for a short anyway, on the way back down. So I don't have this one marked off, but if you guys did take this one, this is one we talked about yesterday. Pretty easy run to the downside, and I mean, there's your 1 to 3. It didn't take much. Overall, this one ended up going about another 214 past. It's at like a 1 to 8 at this point, and continuing to accelerate. But targets 160. It's kind of what you're looking at for today. Okay. Um, Not much else on a Friday that I really want to kind of discuss about that. Dollar CAD, you can see dollar CAD chopping back and forth. Now, again, we are at the 50 right now. There's not actually a level or anything selling wise at the 50, but there is a level sitting up here, and we do have a kind of a touch of it. It's kind of right where we're at right now. So I mentioned, yeah, we're seeing this kind of weakness roll in, but again, technically the data would be more dollar weakness, not overall kind of, stock market weakness. I mean, I guess it is stock market weakness too, but it's not as strong for the dollar. So wouldn't be surprised if this rolls. Crude up again, so we should be seeing some CAD strength come in. If you're looking for a short, I would say that, yeah, if we can get up just a little bit higher, 129.72 is not bad for a Friday. Again, holiday Friday. Remember, there's not going to be as many people out there. The oil market does close a little bit early today, but again, it is up $1.50, up at 107.33. So we were talking about 102, 103, 104 the other day, and now we're back up at the 107 mark. So I would say watch this one. It has the potential to turn and flip. I don't think we retrace all the way back down to 128 before the weekend. I think that we're going to have some problems with this zone right here. Again, this is a decent pullback. And again, if you really want to be like, well, in the overnight and you're scalping, right? That's sitting right at the 50. So I think it'll have a little bit of a hard time with that. That is a 60 pip drop, right? Again, holiday weekend, oil out early, 60 pip drop, already starting to rally up again. It's up 85 and then 60 back down again. That's a lot of movement for one pair on a Friday into a holiday weekend. So I think if we come back down, we kind of sit over there. I would say too, this one also has like a Sunday night potential. As we push forward, if we don't break through the zone, we kind of, again, I think if we do push up and we hold up here, if we open a little bit lower, I think that gives us the ability to take a Sunday night short. Again, there won't be a lot of dollar strength out there, but if we see oil strength, that should help power the CAD a bit. That could absolutely help shoot this back to the downside. So I think it's actually a pretty decent right now setup for Sunday night. If we can't get an actual entry, and again, like I said, we're going to run out of time today. It's probably more what's going to happen. But again, I do like the potential of this one. And again, this would be kind of like opening. I don't know. Like here, if we open somewhere in this zone and then kind of push down before, again, it's a holiday for the U.S., so but not nobody else. I think there's a Sunday potential in this one. I guess actually it would be there, right? Would be kind of what we're looking for. All right. Dollar Swiss. So dollar Swiss grinding up. We're back in the zone again, and you can see we're sitting right there, and price started to pull back again. We've already hit the zone once, and again, kind of got front run here, and now we're kind of basing and really trying to fight through. As I said, I do think dollar weakness rolls back in this afternoon. Um, Again, they're not going to not raise interest rates, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, we're raising, we're going into recession, and we're one data release from showing a contracting, an official contraction of PMI. So I think it's there. I'm more bearish thinking on this one. And kind of my feeling on this one is we probably come back down into this 95.62 area. You know, it's not the first hit of this area. It's hit it once and it's already started to do some basing in there. Now it's fighting. There are sellers there. Are they the most amazing sellers in the world? No. Um, but I think it's something to watch out for. But don't necessarily love it as a Friday afternoon trade. Now, dollar yen. We did talk about this. We did have a bounce yesterday off of that level, and late last night, or actually, I guess, yeah, late last night, 10 o'clock, we finally broke through that zone, and we took the basing. And again, using more the near term, basing level. I mean, we were looking for some type of a Harry Potter, and that's exactly what it did. I mean, you could use this level right here. As you can see, that held. Doesn't matter which one I put it from. They both kind of kicked off, and there's your 1 to 3 right there. So we are beyond twice. It actually 6:30 this morning it was done, and it came actually back up for the 9:30 open, and then gave you a second entry. So there's been 2 entries short on this one. Um, Again, we talked about that being a 50, taking a bounce, and again, instead of kind of doing its kind of confirmation bounce, it did go up, but it started to base in that level. It's like, oh, that's the base is what we're looking for. That's kind of gives us an idea it's going to break, and it did. It finally broke, and then again gave us that pullback and pushed through. So interesting enough, this number didn't matter. The 135 did matter, and that's where we're sitting right now. It's amazing. A lot of these are kind of falling on big psychological levels, right? I mean, Euro Yen 140, we have 162 here, we have right at 35 right here. Um, some of the Ethereum actually bounced off 1,000 this morning, so a lot of these big numbers. Gold is at 1,800 right now, so we're hitting some of these big numbers, right? But kind of the same thing. Again, this one right now is getting strength from the yen. We're seeing the dollar weakness finally start to kick in, but again, this is more of a yen play. I think this one probably tempers and probably it's got to grind through this area here as well as grind through this area here. So um, I don't love this one for the rest of today, but you know, I think you've gotten 2 trades already this morning. If you're going to go get greedy on a third, it's where you end up losing. But yeah, it's a simple play. Bitcoin again, parabolic move yesterday, full parabolic move, right, all the way back again. There is your kind of takeoff candle, and that's exactly what it came back down to. So again, doesn't matter the chart we're looking at. Parabolic move up, parabolic retracement back down again. And again, when it stopped, there's your red, there's your green, there's your red. We talk about, the red, green, reds, but red, green, and red would be right there. And there's your full retracement all the way back down again. That's a decent move, right? I mean, you're talking about, I don't know, 1,100 bucks, right? So again, same technical analysis you do on everything else, just goes to show you it works there as well. Ethereum also took kind of a similar route. It didn't quite make it all the way back again, but it was stuck kind of more basing. And again, it did bounce off this one, the $1,000 mark. That's kind of a big deal for Ethereum people. You know, I don't know. Robert Kiyosaki was all about we're going to buy this here and this here and this here and this here, and I think Ethereum was at 1,000 for him. He's going to be the next crypto manipulator. But yeah, he's in. Doji again, not really doing anything yet. It popped up and it retraced and did what it was supposed to do, but it's really kind of holding firm at this, 106.50. Bonds, again, bonds are taking off today. And again, with bonds being up this high, you may say, wait a second, why is there this big spike? Because again, looking at recession, rich people are putting their money into guaranteed assets right now. Not that rising interest rate environment is great for bonds, but compared to what it looks like in a market where they can't make any money at all, i.e., the stock market, they're looking for some safety right now, looking to grab something, right? Um, yeah, so that's not surprised by this kind of burst. Again, let's see what the dollar's doing. Yeah, the dollar was kind of fighting and it's trying, but it's going to start running out of steam here. We'll see. We'll see what type of basing here we're going to get, but I think this turns and rolls. Let's take a look at oil. So oil just came back up again. We talked about this one yesterday, going to 106, 105, 62 is the target. And you can see it kind of chopped around right that 61.8 level. It did come back up right here at 8 o'clock this morning, 8:30, and did grab that 108.83 level. So again, if you did not get the entry here, and again, not really the best, this kind of one candle and pop right back up again. We like when it kind of grinds back up. Now, it did break through some profit targets to the downside, so not an ideal setup. But again, it's the same level we were talking about. It just went off of it again, and it's literally sitting right at the profit target right now, the bottom of this 1 to 3. So kind of the same thinking. We talked about this one grinding all the way down, and just a day ago we were talking about 105, and really even kind of coming potentially even down to a 102 target. There has been some buyers down here, and we mentioned this 105.62. If you mark this level here, and you can say, okay, well, there's a confirmation of it. You can say, look, we hit it here, and that's what we based in to take off on. So right now, I would say, yeah, being bearish on this one is not bad. I would say that the target right now for today is 105.64. That will require about a 60, 70 cent drop from now till the end of the market. I think it can make it. Like I said, it does. This market does close early on Fridays. It doesn't have the same ending date, but I think it probably pulls back to that level, and it kind of makes sense. With OPEC producing more and everything, I don't think any of these things are really necessarily big bearish signs for oil. And again, couple that with recession and everything else. Um, you know, Makes sense why it's going down. Now, natural gas. Natural gas took in a monstrous run yesterday. And again, this did pull back up to a 50, but talk about a monstrous move yesterday. I mean, this was huge. I mean, we're talking from 650 all the way down to 530. I mean, a dollar, what, dollar 20? That's a huge move, right? That's a gigantic move. And again, an old level that we talked about, that 159. Guess what? It got sliced through. It gave it a little bit of a pause. It got sliced through, and then it was the top. So again, those previously violated zones are really good for kind of continuation plays. It is finding buyers right now, so I think that a lot of this is probably just kind of holding firm. We are at probably a 50% retracement. Yeah, we're flirting around right now with the 50, and again, there are buyers sitting in there. Um, Go natural gas, man. If this thing, like I said, I had to purchase more, and it was like over in here. If this comes down to here, I may just go through an entire tank of gas just so I can be like, woohoo! I spent normal money again. As this continues to drop, but right now I would say, hey, this one looks like it's pretty good to the downside. There was a bit of a gap. There is a little bit of a buying area right here that we may see some play off of. Again, going into a weekend, we'll see what the headlines look like. But we're entering July. We got about another 3 weeks before people are going to start talking about natural, winter gas, or winter gas storages. But right now, again, the blistering heat in the United States is not helping natural gas. No one's using natural gas right now, right? And with prices as high as it is, everybody's we're barbecuing everything now. We're cutting all the trees down, all the pellets, all the charcoal. Forget natural gas. No one's using that. Nobody can pay for energy, right? But those trees outside in the yard, those are free. Not really, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, natural gas. Like I said, I think we probably find some buyers. I think we probably end here, and then we kind of start the week somewhere in this $5.50 range is probably where we start the week. We'll see where we go from there. So gold spiking. You may say, well, wait a second, why the heck is gold spiking on this? Again, gold spiking because again, technically that was weak. Again, they're seeing the contraction, and it's kind of like, all right, well, maybe we're not going to raise as much. Right now, we're really seeing dollar weakness. Even against the euro dollar, I'm actually surprised we have not seen that pop yet. Because again, it was technically a weak dollar move going into recession, but right now we're seeing the exact opposite. We're seeing inflationary pressures across the board, and again, this pop in gold again came at 830, so it was already starting to move in that direction. But all we're doing is we're hovering right around that 1800 mark again. As you can see, we're at 1803. So gold is basically saying, hey, listen, there's more inflation coming, guys. The Fed is not going to be as strong because we're going to go into that recession. Which, yeah, I mean, there could be an argument made that maybe they won't go as hardcore, right? Maybe they won't go as hardcore, but I feel like this does not change the trajectory whatsoever, especially after yesterday's number. So wishful thinking, but again, I would say if you have the ability to get short gold, I think getting short gold, not that I would hold over the weekend, but if we can hold and maintain up here, I think that's a decent drop. And now that we know that we've been cleared all the way down to 1783, right? We know that 1783 is kind of where the next group of like actual buyers stepped in. Um, I think we look for gold to kind of turn and roll, particularly if we can hold maybe up in this area. Um, let's move some fibs around real quick. Let's see if we got anything over there that would step in. Yeah, we're at the 23.6 right now. Um, Only problem with this is it spent a lot of time there. A whole heck of a lot of time. It didn't really explode out of there. But yeah, I mean we're sitting right at a 23 level now, right? So again, it could be an argument, parabolic retracement, right? we could be looking at a parabolic retracement off of this 1805 level. Um, and again, kind of goes into my thinking with the dollar. That everybody right now is trying to get short the dollar, hence why we're seeing some dollar strength come in. What? Excuse me. What's that stops? Look for a reversal. All right, silver. So silver got all the way down to 1937. We have a bigger kind of time frame zone down here at 1904. Um, I actually didn't think we dropped this low. I thought that we would kind of hover around. I thought we'd get down to this like 1975 and then bounce up and then come back down and then bounce up again. It actually made its way all the way down to 1938. You can see that obviously some hiccups around 1950, which makes sense. Again, it's a half number. You'd expect to see it around there. So I'm not actually going to be surprised if this one rallies back up to 20. I think 20 is really a decent stabilization point for this one. Again, we do have buyers lower, but we're going to need. I just think we need more comments about an aggressive Fed to be able to get this down. It's funny though. I mean, look at the performance on silver. I mean, down 5.6 over the week, down 8% for the month. The 3 months down 20%, 6 months 14, year to date down 14, and over the last year it's down 24%. Um, you know, it only made it up to $26.94. But everybody and their brother was calling for $60, $100, and it didn't even make it close. It made it a third of the way there. So it just goes to show you that a lot of these people that are making these calls with these like outrageous numbers to get their name out there, they're just doing it to get their name out there. They're not actually looking at true technicals. So yeah, I'd say right now, I mean, if we drag some fibs down, you can see that, again, near the 23.6 right now, if we take the most recent high to low, there is an area of basing there, right? Right around the 23 where people step in, and it just happens to be kind of boxed in with that 20 number, right? There's a confirmation. That's the 23.6 boxed in by the black line, which, again, I guess the black line, we should put it above now. Right? That's where you're looking for that 20 number. So, I mean, there is a confirmation touch there coming in at 1987. So, yeah, yeah. Let's see what we got indice wise and see what kind of drama. Yeah, see, it's starting to do its pullback now. That's what I was looking for. Let's see what we would have had at the open today, as far as chop goes. Again, that was out. You can see it's funny. Came down, got profit, came back up, came back down, and then just went. Let's see. 9:30 candle would be right here. I wouldn't say that this is an entry. If you were going to mark off tops and bottoms, I would say that, yep, there's a top right there. Right? And again, that's kind of what we ran into right for the news, right? So this is more of a news trade than it is anything else. And then bottom wise, you could make a comment about, hey, listen, there's a basing level sitting right there. 9:30 is right here. We're smack in the middle of the two. I wouldn't say that there's a setup one way or the other. There's no real direction from that 8:30 on. Didn't really give us any kind of forewarning, but again, it did pop up right at the 9:45 window and the 10 o'clock window, so we did go into a zone. So it is kind of a news reversal, which kind of makes sense. But I wouldn't say that again. 0 for 1. This was not a 15-minute setup today. And again, is it really trending? It's down point 0.4 from where we were yesterday, but is it really doing much? I wouldn't say much, right? Popped up, came back, and we're exactly where we were. Europeans opened the market here, so slightly above where the Europeans opened it. So wouldn't say this is a major trender right now. NQ, let's see what we got NQ wise. Again, we had the short here yesterday. That was out. We can pull that off. If we readjust the highs and lows, you can say that, hey, listen, there's again, there's your basing with a confirmation. It didn't hit it today, and then again, you're boxed in on the downside over on this side. As you can see, here's the 9:30 candle. Did it pull into a zone? Nope, nothing. I mean, pulled back a little bit, but not really. I would say that again, with kind of being boxed in top and bottom, not really a decent setup today either. And again, not every day is going to be a 4 for 4 on setups at the open. I mean, strategies are that when it meets market conditions, you trade them. So, and again, we popped up, we popped right back down again. It turned a little bit early. And again, I kind of with this, I can understand why, but sideways, no movement, right? It's down 0.37, but is it really doing much since where it closed yesterday? Not really, right? Not really at all. YM. Now, YM, I'm not surprised that this one has a big candle. It's manufacturing, of course. YM is going to be hit more. Let's see. Came all the way down. Get rid of some of these. Leave that on top. Some of these just to keep this one quick. There was your last stopping point. There's your hit. And again, there was your bottom from yesterday. So 930 is right here. So yeah, kind of the same thing. We're sitting literally in between two of the extreme zones and really not much. And all it did was it rallied back up for news. And at 10 o'clock, the news was sitting in a zone on the 30-minute and dropped. So I mean, these were, you guys can see here. These were just standard news setups, right? I mean, talk about quick. You were out in one candle. So again, not an opening print 30-minute, just a standard news trade. And again, YM would have been the one to play today. Again, news-wise, if you look at all four of them, and they're all kind of very similar. You can see the ES again. ES was right up into a zone. Would you trade ES? I mean, it worked out fine, right? But of all the four, which one would have been the ideal target? It obviously would have been YM. Again, because it is considered manufacturing based, and again, that's really what the Dow is. The industrial average. Again, there's your news based setup, and we're going lower now. This zone here was formed, and again, kind of pushed in, kind of pulled out, kind of pushed in, pulled out again. This is kind of hit number 3 over here with some kind of momentum behind it. You guys will see that there's no D's over here. I figured out what the D problem was. Um, I'd say right now, I mean, I'd almost be kind of looking at this and saying, hey, listen, if we can get some type of a position, some type of a basing in here, 1 to 3 is only right here, right there, 2.99. Do we make our push down today? With a break of 33.95. Again, this kind of screws up that feel good Friday, right? But again, those numbers somewhat justified, at least for the indices. Again, it is kind of a big deal. Like I said, you break below 50, that's not what you want. Um, yeah. Going into August, getting that one when we're a couple months away from an election, it's like, oh, we just went into a contracting. We're going into recession. Our GDP is going backwards. Our inflation's at a 40-year. These are like all like the worst case scenarios, right? Um, yeah. Um, yeah. So yeah, with a break of that, I would say we get any basing, getting us a little bit more of a refined level. Look for this to come down to 31, 32 today. And Russell did the same thing. I mean, Russell, again, there was the trade from yesterday. There was the top in the overnight, right? We ended up punching through a little bit on this one, right? Which again, it can happen. Like I said, Russell's going to be the most volatile of all of them, smallest. And there's your bottom. 930 would have been sitting right here. Again, 930, totally flat for 45 minutes. No objective whatsoever in the market. So again, 0 for 4 as far as 15-minute trade setups today at the open. There just wasn't anything in there to trade. Funny enough, all 4 of them went up and we're grabbing those old levels. This one actually burst out the top a little bit. The only one of 4, I think. That did not. That didn't reach. That stayed in. Yeah. So Russell went out just a little bit. But again, we're sitting between 2 levels. There are some, there's some buyers in here. But overall, I think Russell probably comes down as well. I mean, seeing contraction definitely hurts the little old guy. This level's been hit a bunch of times too. Look at this. Whoops. If I extend this across. 1, 2, 3, pretty deeply. 4. This is 5. I don't think that holds either. Could we get a? Could we get a Harry Potter in here? 1 to 3 is there. It's close. It's close. Really, really close. Actually, don't need this anymore. Don't need that anymore. We'll just bring this across. So, yeah, Russell's got some move, some. It's got some stuff it's got to kind of chunk through. And again, this level is not fresh. It's already been pushed pretty deep. So, again, kind of similar to what we have um, inside of did I say the YM? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, YM. Something along those lines. A break of 1680, right? Break of 1680-ish, 1681-ish level, right? I mean, there's your zone, but we know we got 3, 4 hits here. Again, this dark line is kind of where the profit taking should come in. It's a little bit. I wish it was a little bit lower. Yeah, it's kind of at the very, very bottom. It's a little bit far for me. But again, I think that's way to take some negativity there with it. And again, you can see they're all kind of accelerating. And again, as they should be. Again, one reading from 50 is Preppy. What are they saying? Construction inch down a little bit. No one disputes with your system. Needs a hike. Um, yeah, just this one. Yeah. I am surprised it's funny. It's an era of bad news is good news for the dollar. I am surprised. Again, it's fighting. It's definitely getting some fighting right now. I'm shocked that it didn't already turn. So, yeah, it's funny. And they're right. You know, this comment here, the era of bad news and good news, shoot the dollar back to the moon. It's actually, again, on a fundamental basis, this is not actually a dollar strong type release, right? Seeing this come back down again is every reason to hold the dollar back. But again, we're there. We're finding them. It's just how quick will this turn and roll on a Friday? So I want to look at that pound yen again. Yeah, look at pound yen accelerating through. Um, that nice push. We're getting closer. Down to 152 pips. I don't know if we can make 152 today, but yeah, looking for that sucker to continue to the downside. So, but yeah, I am shocked. I am, genuinely shocked that the dollar has not turned yet. Waiting for this to turn. It should. Yeah, it should be. All right, let's go ahead and do. Where are we at leaderboards? Where's it? Giveaways. There we go. All right, who are we missing today? We have Ernest. We have Will. We have Marina. We have Debbie. We have Neuro. Oh, Sean. No, Sean again. Telling you, man, Sean is partying up there in Michigan. I have to reach out to him and pick on him a little bit. I got one of those. I don't know. Like I'll look at enough like cooking stuff on YouTube. Somehow there was this thing that there is a muskrat festival, and that Michiganders love muskrats. Right? I was like, what? And the entire show, they had a muskrat basically that they were butchering on the table. I was like, I don't know if I'd eat that. It just didn't. Like, I'm all for trying new things, but I was like, that does not look as appetizing. Like, oh, we started, last year at the Michigander Festival, they made 90,000 plates. I was like, you did what? Yeah, 90,000 people, right? They had to come up with 90,000 muskrat dishes. I'm like, that's a lot of muskrats. Yeah, yeah. No idea. So I gotta give Sean a call. Be like, hey, I know you're from the UP. You guys eating muskrat up there? So yeah, gotta give him a hard time. All right. With that said, let's shut it down for the day. I think Neuro is taking this one. This is one of those magic 8 ball days where it's kind of like, hey, listen, there is what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people going against his 10 to try to get a three-peat here. As I said, Neuro has got this locked down at this point. Um, yeah, Neuro's got this game down. He's like, I'm gonna win one, I'll win two, then I'll go in heavy with the big blind. No one will stand up to me because there's no point for them to do it. They'll lose too many chips. And again, I don't know. Lady Luck is just, I mean, Neuro is playing statistics to like a champion. All right, so let's see. He's got, yeah, what, like a 60% chance of winning today? We'll see. Winner of today's drawing is Neuro. Yeah, 62.5. I was close. I was close, but man, the guy is playing statistics. Again, this is like poker, right? I feel like Neuro too. I keep picking on you about gold and silver, so I feel like that's what it is. I feel like you're getting beat up because I keep picking on those two assets, but they keep getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I feel like you're figuring. Yeah, I think Lady Luck expects me to buy her an expensive dinner and jewelry later. Yes, probably Neuro. Yeah, but see, I don't know. Lady Luck, I feel like is anti-statistics. I feel like you're like more like a beautiful mind right now, right? Right? It's more of a beautiful mind. You're like figuring out the odds and all that kind of stuff. I figure, that, and I feel like Ernest's brain is melting because of the heat in Texas, right? I feel like he hasn't been giving you a hard time because he knows, right? Right? I feel like he knows. Um, yeah, Neuro gets his 250. And boom, he just took over Debbie's spot. He just took over number 3. Gold, let gold and silver fall. I'm gearing up to buy him again in a week or two. Yeah. I mean, I think you're okay. Yeah, I think in a week or two you'll still be good Neuro on those. But look at that. New number 3. Neuro just passed. Man, first look at this. Ernest is dropping. Sean snuck up a little bit ahead. I think that's because Ernest burned a lot of chips really, really fast. Ernest was that what's it called? Ernest tried to play the big blind and took some big losses, right? But he's right on Sean's heels. So, but Sean basically is like turning into like Eki. Sean shows up just to win. It's like Wealth Builder used to be, right? So you got to check with Wealth Builder, see how he's doing. All right, so that's it. It's Friday. What are you gonna say? Friday holiday weekend. Everybody be safe this weekend. I know it's 4th of July. Everybody out there, go have a good time. Don't get COVID. I found, I met, not met, but like one of our other families on the lacrosse team got COVID yesterday. Not from us, right? But again, don't get COVID. Go have a good time. Be safe. And again, won't be on obviously on Monday, right? It is a holiday. So we will be back on Tuesday, and I'll catch you guys all then. So happy trading today. Like I said, it's a holiday weekend. You guys should be ending early anyway if you're not already done. Today is one of those easy days where you should be done for the day early. But again, go enjoy it. Enjoy some family time, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks again, and I'll catch you Tuesday. Take care.